Meanwhile, speaking of governments who claim to care, we have Ontario Premier Doug Ford. I don't own him. I don't. Oh, please. Why? When does Doug Ford get any better? I thought by now he would have learned to stop running his mouth, but he's not. He's now calling President Trump a tyrant as he addresses Canadians' supposed, and I say supposed, we'll get to that in a minute, supposed organic boycott of travel to the US. He's basically saying that snowbirds are no longer headed to Florida and the likes for their winter vacay because of Trump's tariffs and because he's a tyrant, I guess. So listen to this, Doug Ford.
Canadians are no longer flying to Florida. They're not. The snowbirds have basically, it's dried up. There's been an organic boycott of tourism into America. Do you support that? And are you going to go to Florida this year?
Yeah. So let me tell you, it's going to be the first time I'm not going to Florida. But I talked to so many people. Don't let this guy Trump determine and ruin your life and everything. That's my personal choice. Maybe some families have gone to Florida their whole lives. Go to Florida. You know, that's great. But I encourage you to stay here and support local tourism. But you can't let the one tyrant change your lives, right? You just can't let it happen. I'm doing it out of my own personal choice because I just can't do it. But don't let this guy change your lives. If you go down and you see, you know, maybe their grandparents are down there. Maybe they're somewhere else. So we'll get through this. But they're hurting down there right now. They're hurting on all fronts. They're hurting on their economy. President Trump is at the lowest rating that any president has been in the first year, and God knows probably 100 years. So it's taking effect. And I always say, we love our American friends, and the Americans love Canadians. And there's just one guy I just don't see eye to eye with this, President Trump. So we'll keep fighting. And I'll never apologize to that guy, ever. Keep giving it to him.
Ford.
Good morning, Premier Megan.
He's really giving it to him. All of a sudden, Ford seems to care about personal choice, too. That seems funny, considering he was the guy that instituted vaccine passports for everyone aged 12 and up to go and play hockey, for instance. But I loved that this reached the desk of Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis. and he reposted fact-checking Doug Ford, who appears to be more concerned with being a misinformation monger than factually correct. And Ron DeSantis writes, actually, we continue to break tourism records and win Stanley Cups. Just had to give that little extra elbows up in there. Because this is from August. I mean, this isn't like a breaking news story. This is going back where Florida is breaking its own record for 34.5 million visitors in the second quarter of 2025. And meanwhile, Premier Ford is trying to say that they're really hurting down there. And Ron DeSantis is like, not so much, actually. Let's look at the facts here, because you're just spreading gossipy tabloid nonsense. It's Trump. Ford. Flip-flop Ford is what he's come to be known best for. And I'm here to see them duke it out on social media. And Ford be put in his place.
I love that Doug is projecting his own personal biases on the entire country when he runs his mouth like this, because people aren't the numbers of Canadians traveling to the United States for business or pleasure has decreased, but it has nothing to do with all of the reasons Doug Ford just gave us there. The reason we're not traveling to the United States is because of inflation and our poor dollar. When we go and exchange our money, and it's only worth 75 cents on every American dollar. Well, that makes it really hard for average everyday Canadians, Doug, to take a trip down south. But I certainly know several dozen people who are not doing their annual pilgrimage to Arizona and are not going to California, because us Westerners, we go to the West Coast, right? But that's strictly because of the poor exchange and bad inflation and cost of living here. People just simply can't afford to go. And yet Doug is like, it's because of Trump and everything that Trump does. If I was petty and if I was Donald Trump, okay, I would write an executive order today banning Doug Ford from ever stepping foot in Florida again. That's what I would do. I would literally do that. I'd be like, Doug, thanks so much for running your mouth on a national stage. You're not welcome here anymore, ever, for the rest of your life. The end. Ooh, I'd be petty. I'd be petty.
Well, don't forget, Ford can just go up to his fancy Muskoka cottage too
Wait,
and get away. And
where, where he has
he,
sleepovers with Mark Carney. Yep.
yeah, with their fireside chats and whispering sweet nothings in the wee hours of the evening. Um, yes, Doug Ford and Mark Carney. But Ford just needs someone needs to tell Ford to put a cork in it. I mean, I don't know how he's come this far and he's still trying to take swipes. Calling President Trump a tyrant while you're literally taking an extended Christmas break amid like scandal after scandal with his industry minister, David Pacini. Ontario schools are an absolute mess. Less than half of grade 9 students are where they should be with in terms of math and literacy. And what does the Ford government do? Well, he's just going to take an extended break until March 26th, I believe it is, 2026.
That
Um,
long.
it is nuts. So when you want to talk about acting like a tyrant, well, Doug Ford is taking pretty extreme and aggressive steps to disavow accountability and disavow democracy. So I'd say that's acting like more of a tyrant than anything Donald Trump's doing.
Doug the thug.
Doug the tyrant thug. All right.